So last year I did a little video about like my Boston Marathon experience. I definitely wanted to do it again this year to, well, share with people. But honestly, like, I don't care if anyone watches this. I really like it for myself, and I'm definitely gonna do this moving forward anytime I do a marathon because it's like nice to look back on. Um, anyways, so a couple days prior to the marathon, I was not sleeping well. I was so anxious because I literally found out March 14th, almost today, March 14th, that I was running the marathon, and like my application was accepted on 15th. So literally it was like 1 month that I had to get ready for the marathon. Thankfully, I was training for a half marathon that I have in 2 weeks. So I just like upped the mileage, but I didn't run any more than 16.6 to get ready for the marathon. And I was nervous about not running that far because I haven't run like that long. Like, I haven't ran that far since the marathon last year. Anyways, thankfully, by the grace of God, I slept like 7.5 hours the night before the marathon, so I was very happy about that. And on actually last Friday too, my left knee decided to swell up. No idea why. Well, no idea why. But thankfully it was good. It is good this morning too. Anyways, my marathon experience this year was what I prayed for like last year. Everything about the marathon in 2024 was what I always dreamt of it being. The weather was perfect for me. I wouldn't want it any warmer. It was a warm run, and I'm actually very sunburned. No, I did not put sunscreen on. I did not want to be sweating and feeling all sticky from the sunscreen. I'd rather have a sunburn because honestly, when I was looking at all the other runners, like with just like the sun, like the sunblock, like melting down them, I was like, no way. I was very glad of my decision to not do that, and it didn't hurt. Honestly, I didn't even realize it until I went to shower last night that I had a sunburn. Anyways, so I was in a further back corral. So I actually ran about 26.5 miles yesterday. And in the beginning, I knew my pace was faster than I wanted to be, but that was okay with me because in the beginning, like the first like 2 to 3 miles, there are naturally so many people. Like, obviously there's like over 30,000 people running it, but everyone is very cramped together because there's not like it, as the course goes on, it just like spaces out obviously naturally. But it feels like the roads are bigger the further the towns you get in. I don't know if that makes sense. But it was like a lot of people actually like will walk, which is great, fine with them, but it's like hard to go in and out of like just like all the people. So I decided to like move faster, weaving in and out of people. So I did that, and I knew I was going to see my best friend Colleen early, and I did, and I like ran into her like full force. I was so happy to see her. And then probably it was like mile 3 to 4 where I felt like I was like kind of starting to set into my pace. And honestly, like throughout the run, it really does go by fast, like because there's so much to look at. And like, yes, like I am listening to music, but it's like they have like where the mile markers are, and then sometimes they like mark it like when you're like kind of close, like halfway, and it really flies by. Like, honestly, at first I was like, oh my god, I feel like this is gonna take forever. Like when I was at mile 5, I was like, oh god, I still have like over 20 miles left. And then it was like before I knew it, I'm like, oh my god, I only have like 9 miles left, which I can't even believe I'm saying, oh, I only have 9 miles left. And so I knew I wasn't going to see anyone until Wellesley. Now, let me tell you, you see some like wild stuff when you're running a marathon, like the things people do. I saw a man running barefoot. I saw a couple guys running in sandals. I can't believe that they did that. And you just see like the craziest stuff. But it's quite entertaining on the run. One major highlight for me during the marathon, and last year, I said it to multiple people, and it unfortunately didn't happen, probably because of the weather. But when I was in Natick, I'm actually like kind of tearing up. Okay. I absolutely love Ben Bergeron. Like, he doesn't, well, he does now, know it, but he has helped me so much with mindset. Like, I already had it, but I really do feel like, mentally I have a very strong mindset when it comes to like physically training and somewhat overall. And I have listened to his podcast since the beginning. I've like watched his TED Talks. When I was teaching at Nichols, I taught a applied sports psychology class. I use his book for like lessons. I love him. I love like his message with mindset. And I knew I was coming up by CrossFit New England, and I didn't even get my hopes up that he would be there. And I was running by and I saw him. He was sitting on a rower. He wasn't rowing. He was just like watching first. And he was next to his wife. First of all, they are so freaking jacked. Oh my God. Very outer body experience. I just ran up to him and I had my music so loud. I feel bad. I was probably screaming at him. And I just shook his hand and I said like, hi Ben, and I was like, thank you so much. Like, you have helped me so much. Like, thank you. And he was awesome about it. Mind you, this is literally like 5 seconds or less. And I kept going because like, I didn't want to stop, obviously. I would have loved to take a picture with him. But just the fact that I was able to say that to him, that is like an absolute highlight for me for the marathon. Like, because he has helped me so much, and I was just so happy to thank him, and it was so cool. And I messaged him on Instagram to tell him it was me, and he responded. Okay, anyways. So I knew I was like trying to obviously get to Wellesley. I knew I was going to see a lot of people in Wellesley. I knew I was going to see Marissa and Greg, two teachers that I work with in the math department. Well, I don't work in the math department. You do not want me teaching math. I knew they were going to be there. I wasn't sure where. And I knew I was going to see Seppi and Lisa and the rest of the family. So when I was in Wellesley, I think it was Wellesley, I saw some people from grad school. And then I was like running by and I was just like, do. And then I saw like the two math teachers and I was like, I had no idea where I would see them. So it was like very unexpected when I did see them. And I was so glad I took my headphones out, for Wellesley, because I had a feeling I was going to see a lot of people. And then thank the gods, I saw my sister because she handed me off water with salts. That was obviously yesterday being so warm. I was so thirsty. I drank so much. I started with a water bottle. I grabbed water at every station. At the beginning, I was taking it and just kind of like throwing it in my mouth. And then after a while, honestly, like when I would so they have a water station just after every mile, I was taking water and or Gatorade and just like walking that to make sure I was like hydrating, because obviously it was hot. I was splashing water all over myself. One thing that was honestly very, very helpful too, and like I really want to go spectate the marathon one year, is people on the sides passing out like Gatorades and waters and ice. Someone was passing out Gatorade, grabbed it, chugged that, waters too, and one woman was like passing out ice. I grabbed it and like threw it like all the front of like my sports bra in the back, and that was like lifesaver because it was so warm yesterday. It was so nice that people were doing that. So I saw Marissa and Greg, and they gave me that water, and I was like, oh, I was so glad that I got that then. I really needed it. And then not long after, I saw Lisa and Seppi and the family, Dom and Mike, and it was so nice, and it was very, very brief, but it was just like so sweet to see them, and they had all the signs, and it was like very well worth the run. One thing, when you run the marathon, you like go in waves of how you feel. It's like, yes, I feel good, like this is awesome, like no problem. Oh my god, why am I doing this? I'm never doing this again. Then you go back up and you're like, this is such an amazing experience, and then it goes back down and you're like, this is the last time I'm ever doing it, and then it goes back up and you're like, hell yeah, this is awesome. So you go through those like wave of emotions, and definitely after seeing them I was like, okay, this is like why I'm doing it. And then after, honestly, I like blinked at one point. I looked at my watch and I was like, oh my god, I'm almost at mile 17. I won't lie, I walked most the hills. I walked up Heartbreak Hill. I decided like during it, I'm like, I don't need to be a hero and run up it. And honestly, like I would, some like smaller hills I would like slow run up, but I was just like, I know I actually almost texted Anthony to be like, I'm fine, I just needed to walk. I was just like, you know what, I'm walking up the hills, and honestly I think it was faster doing that, because if I were to run up it, then I would maybe get my heart rate too high and then have a hard time after. But as soon as I was like not on a super high incline, I immediately started running. The hills definitely I felt were more difficult this year than last, and the difference, I can only really, I mean, it's the same hills, but last year, just because it was raining and it was so cold, I don't know if they didn't hurt as bad because I was just thinking about like the weather and how cold I was, or also like I didn't have much time to train, so like the hills were just harder for me this year, but that's fine. Anyways, when I finally got into Boston, well, first of all, I was like, I love after Heartbreak Hill, you're basically right into Boston College, and running through Boston College is so much fun. I literally like, that is one of my favorite parts, just the crowds. It is wild, absolutely wild. I love it. Even like on a Boston Marathon group that I'm in, they're like, running through BC is the best, and it hands down is, oh god, that like, it makes it so worth it too. Anyways, so honestly, like I was just like running, and I was like counting down. It was like when I was at mile 20, I was like 6 more miles until I get to see my husband and my parents, and I was just like enjoying like the run. Like I said, everything that happened yesterday was like what I literally dreamt of. Like I enjoyed it so much. It was so beautiful out. Like the crowds were great. Like you just couldn't help but be in like a great mood and just like enjoy the moment. I probably had more like emotional moments throughout the run. Not probably, I had a decent amount of like emotional moments during the run. Like, I can't believe I'm doing this. People having like pictures of their dogs and their kid, like, oh, I'm gonna cry, but like I would see some moms like running, seeing their kids, and made me think of my kids. And sorry, it was just like so awesome. And it's nice also kind of like knowing the route, because you kind of like have a memory of like, all right, I'm gonna be going up this, like, and then I'm going up this hill, and then I'm gonna make a turn, and I'm gonna be on Boylston. And I felt so bad. There were like, it's actually pretty amazing how many runners, like not even a mile out from the finish line, are collapsing, falling, stopping, stretching. Part of me is like, come on, like just go. But I was a little nervous even for myself. At one point, my right quad, I just felt it literally go like and tighten up and cramp, and that was when I was like chugging even more water. I was like eating some of my dried pineapple, just something to kind of like fuel my body, because just putting something in it to see if it could help like release. But literally, like there's like one final little incline before you make the turn to Boylston, and I saw like two guys like on the ground like with medics or that have collapsed, and I just like cannot imagine being that close. Even like people on Boylston and that happening, I would be beside myself. Anyways, when I turned onto Boylston, it's so hard. Like when you turn, you want to like just sprint down, but like you can't because it's still like a decent ways down. And obviously, after like the run to, you don't want to do that, and then just like you don't want to just black out and go. When I was like halfway, I actually heard another one of my work friends. I can't believe I heard Allie, and she was cheering for me. She was on the opposite side, and then I knew I was keeping an eye out. I was like, I want to see Anthony and my parents this year. Like last year, I didn't see them, and I saw them. I was so happy to see my parents and Anthony. It was easy. My mom wore like a very bright pink shirt, so she was easy to spot, and she was. And Anthony had a white shirt on, which made it easy to spot. And then obviously, like if you know my dad, he's just easy to spot because he's so tall. And I like ran past the finish line, and it was just like I was so happy. Like last year I was not happy with my finish, and this year I was like so happy with my efforts, and it really could not have gone better. This morning and last night, I did not sleep. That it happened to me last year, and this year my adrenaline's just like way too high from the day. Like legitimately, like barely slept last night. My resting heart rate is normally like 53. When I was laying in bed last night, it was 78. I use my Garmin to track my watch. I use my Garmin to track my sleep, and it didn't even track sleep. Like that's how terrible it was. It basically thought I didn't sleep last night. And even this morning, like I actually don't feel like I am tired, but I don't feel like super tired. But it's probably just still like the adrenaline from yesterday. So anyways, when I was done, we went back home and we had Black Dog, and I had pizza. I had a huge like 18 to 20 ounce ribeye. I said to Anthony, I was like, we're going to McDonald's. I want a McFlurry. So I got a McFlurry, and this morning and last night, just how I'm feeling, my feet are very, very tired. I'm definitely more sore this year than last. My quads, I'm feeling it. My left glute and hip, I'm feeling it. I definitely need to take it like easy today. Last year when I finished, like, don't get me wrong, I felt it, but like I took that Tuesday off. That Wednesday I did like a little something physically. I think I need to I'm gonna take a couple days off. Like I'm definitely hurting. So thankfully I have a massage this Friday. But that was like my Boston Marathon 2024 experience. I will 100% be running it again one day. The chances of me running it next year is very, very low. I will run it one day. Not sure when. I want my kids to see me cross the finish line because they have not been there. Just they're still too little, and it's just easier and safer for them to stay home. But one day when they're older, they will 100% see me cross the finish line. So until then.